Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to be sewing again, and up next, we're going to be sewing McCalls pattern 7430. I love this pattern. It sews up really quick, and it's perfect for the fall and winter season that we're having right now. A couple things I do want to point out to you before we jump right into our sewing. Pieces 1 and 4. Grab those if you have them, and then open up your sewing directions so I can point something out to you. Once you have your pieces, go ahead and open up your sewing directions to step number 1. So it says to stay stitch side edges of front above waist. So it doesn't tell you at notch, at dot, it just says above waist. Now if you're new to sewing, you can be like, okay, where's my waist? So piece number 4 is cut on a fold, and you'll see it's marked waistline. What you don't want to do is put a snip right here to let you know stop right there with your stay stitch. You don't want to do that, because if you cut right here on the fold, you will have a hole in the middle of your dress. What you do want to do is maybe make a mark over here where the raw edge will be. You can put a small snip there. You can just make a line with some chalk or whatever you mark your fabric with to let you know this is my waistline. I need to stop above that. Do the same thing for piece number 1. Find your waistline. There, this is marked waistline. Don't make your mark or your snip on the fold. Do it over here where this curve is, where your raw edge will be. That way you'll know this is where I need to stop above my waist with my stay stitching. So go ahead and do that. If you look in your sewing directions, it tells you to do that to piece number 1 and your first step. And then if you go over to step 7, it tells you to do that to piece number 4. So I just want to give you a heads up on that before we jump right into our sewing. So another thing I want to bring to your attention is on the back of your pattern. If you turn around, you can look at the different views. View A and B, they both have kind of like a curved hem. And view C and D, they just go straight down. For this tutorial, I wanted mine to go straight down. I didn't do the curved hem. However, if you want to do yours, just be sure to follow those steps and go ahead and do your curve. But mine will be straight for this tutorial. So go ahead and cut your pieces out. For view B, you will need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8. So once you have your pieces all cut out, we can get started. Okay everybody, so again we're going to be sewing view B of McCalls 7430. As you can see right here, I just took some chalk and I wrote down the pattern pieces, then transferred the numbers over so I wouldn't get confused. So the first step in our sewing our dress is to put a stay stitch from the top of our dress down to around the waistline of it. So go ahead and put a stay stitch on both sides of your dress. And once you have your stay stitch in, you want to then go back and put an E-stitch between your 2 notches. So once you have your stay stitch, find your 2 notches, and the E-stitch is just your longest machine stitch. For mine, this is a 5. So find your longest machine stitch, which is your basting stitch, and put it between your 2 notches. So once you have your 2 stitches in on both sides, you want to put your piece number 2 on top of your piece number 1, right sides facing, and then you're going to find your notches at the top. Pin it together. Once you have it all pinned, we're going to go ahead and sew that down. So once you have piece 1 and 2 connected, the next step for us to do is take piece number 3, and we're going to find our 2, the size that has the 2 notches on it, and then we're going to pin those together to our piece number 1. So go ahead and line your pieces up, find your notches, and go ahead and pin on both sides of your dress. So right here, I am just taking my time finding my notches, and I'm going to pin my pieces together right sides facing. So once you're all done, you can go ahead and sew that down. And so now we have piece 2 to piece 1 and our piece 3 is connected. The next thing for us to do is take piece number 4, which is our back piece, and we're going to put that same stay stitching on the side like we did for the front on piece number 1. So start at the top and just put a stay stitching down to around the waistline of your dress. So once you have your stay stitching in, go ahead and take piece 5, and you're going to put it right sides together with your piece 4. Find your notches like we did on the front part of the dress. Once you have it all pinned, we can go ahead and sew this down. The next step is to cut you some pieces of seam tape. Seam tapes prevent extra stretching. So go ahead and cut you some pieces, pin it to piece number 5 at your shoulder seams, and we're just going to sew that down to prevent extra stretching in our shoulder area. Once you have your seam tape sewn down, you want to go ahead and put your front and back pieces together right sides facing. Once you have them together, you can go ahead and start pinning. And once you are ready, once you have it all pinned, we can go ahead and sew that down like I'm doing here. I do want to say that I was pressing. I didn't finish my seams until now. I went back and I finished them, but make sure that you are pressing and finishing your seams as you go. The next step is to put a stay stitch around the neck area of our dress. So you can go ahead and do that now like I'm doing here. Just put stay stitching around your whole neckline. Next, you're going to take your neckband and you're going to fold it with right sides facing, and we're just going to sew down the center back of it. Make sure that you're back stitching as you go. And next, you want to go ahead and open that seam up, press it flat, and then you're going to fold it lengthwise, and then put a couple pins in it just to hold it in place. Should look something like that when you're done. So the next thing you want to do is take your dress and you want to first match up your notches. So take your neckband and match it up to the notches on your dress. Once you have everything lined up, you can go ahead and sew your neckband to your dress, and make sure that when you're sewing that you're only pulling the neckband to fit the dress. You don't want to be pulling the dress as well. So only pull the neckband just a little bit so that it fits the dress. The next thing for us to do is put ease stitching around our sleeve. So go ahead and put your machine on your longest machine stitch, and we're going to put 2 rows of ease stitching. It should look something like this once you're done. The next step is for us to sew down our sleeve. So go ahead and pin the sleeve sides together and sew them down. And once you're done sewing that, the next thing for us to do is go ahead and fold up the hem on our sleeve. Go ahead and pin it down in place, and we'll go ahead and sew that around like I'm doing here. Make sure that you do it for both of your sleeves, of course. And then when you're done, it should look a little something like this. And then you can go ahead and press that out. So now all we have to do is put our sleeve into our dress. So go ahead and find your notches and just continue on pinning all the way around, putting your sleeve in. It should look a little something like that when you're done. And then we can go ahead and sew that in. Make sure you do it for both arms. Once I was done sewing, I used my serger, took off the extra seam allowance, and then finished my seam. The next step for us to do is do our hem, and we're all done with our dress. This is a really quick and easy dress to sew up. I really do hope this tutorial was helpful. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe below, and I'll see you all in the next video. Blessings, everyone. Bye.